What if the life you're living right now, your passions, your struggles, your fears, and your gifts, didn't actually begin in this lifetime? What if who you are today isn't just shaped by your upbringing or genetics, but is instead part of a much deeper, more intricate tapestry woven across lifetimes? In Buddhist philosophy, this isn't just poetic language, it's a profound spiritual truth. According to ancient teachings, life doesn't move in a straight line from birth to death. Instead, it turns in a sacred cycle: birth, death, and rebirth, what Buddhists call samsara. Within this wheel, every thought, intention, and action leave a subtle imprint. These imprints, known as karma, don't just shape this life, they ripple into future lives as well. In this series, we'll explore how the echoes of past lives influence our present experiences. We'll look at how karma carries forward emotional wounds and spiritual gifts, how our soul remembers, even when our conscious mind does not. And we'll explore the Buddhist practices that help us uncover these hidden patterns, not to indulge curiosity, but as a powerful step on the path to awakening. We begin with a foundational truth in Buddhism: everything is impermanent and everything is interconnected. Our identities, our emotions, our relationships, they're not fixed. Yet somehow, the same patterns keep showing up in our lives. We try to change, but the themes repeat. Why? The answer lies in karma, the natural law of cause and effect. Karma isn't about punishment or reward, it's about consequence, and the karma we carry isn't limited to this one life. Often, the most puzzling and persistent challenges we face today are echoes of previous incarnations. Buddhist teachers through the ages have spoken of this with great clarity and compassion. Think of the unexplained fears or powerful attractions you've experienced. Maybe you have a deep fear of water, even though you've never had a traumatic experience with drowning. Or maybe you feel an intense connection to a culture, time period, or spiritual path you've never studied. These could be emotional fingerprints from past lives. In Buddhism, such impressions are called samskaras, subtle imprints carried by the alaya vijnana, or storehouse consciousness. This deep layer of mind travels with us from lifetime to lifetime, holding the seeds of our memories, desires, fears, and gifts. Take, for example, one of my students, a young woman who had a paralyzing fear of fire. She couldn't even light a candle without shaking. Through meditation and guided regression, she uncovered a vivid memory of being a healer in a village, accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Whether this was a literal past life or a symbolic truth, the emotional weight was real, and through awareness and compassion, she began to heal. Many of us live caught in repeating cycles, falling into the same toxic relationships, feeling perpetually alone, or chronically undervalued. We ask, why does this keep happening to me? But what if it's not random? What if it's karmic residue, unresolved pain, or incomplete lessons from another time? In Buddhism, this isn't a punishment, it's an opportunity. If you were abandoned in a past life, you might now fear closeness and push others away. If you once betrayed trust, you might now struggle to trust or be trusted. These are not just psychological patterns, they are spiritual echoes. And just as wounds can carry across lifetimes, so can gifts. Some people are born with extraordinary talents or wisdom they never formally learned. A child prodigy, for example, might be tapping into a reservoir of experience for older than their years. Have you ever wondered how a teenager might play classical piano flawlessly without ever taking lessons? Or how someone so young can speak about ancient spiritual truths with instinctive wisdom? How a natural leader can walk into a room and immediately command presence and trust without formal training. These aren't coincidences. In Buddhist teachings, they're known as vasanas, latent tendencies or subtle imprints carried from past lives. They're the result of countless repetitions, slowly etched into the soul across incarnations. Perhaps you've spent lifetimes in silence and study, as a monk, a mystic, or a seeker, and now the Dharma feels like home. Or maybe you've walked the path of the warrior, lived spent in protection, strategy, and strength, so leadership and decisiveness come naturally. The key isn't to cling to these roles or identify with them. It's to recognize them, honor them, and use them with mindfulness. Because we are not beginning from zero. Every life builds upon the foundation of the ones before it. Two archetypes often emerge in those with strong karmic pasts: the hermit and the warrior. The hermit is drawn to solitude, spiritual depth, and inner work, often avoiding social attachments. This may be the continuation of many lives spent as monks, nuns, or solitary seekers. But while this tendency isn't wrong, without balance, it can become avoidance, an escape rather than a path of growth. The warrior, on the other hand, is drawn to power, conflict, and purpose, gravitating toward martial arts, activism, or leadership. This can reflect past lives as soldiers, generals, or guardians. When unexamined, this energy can be volatile, but when transformed through wisdom, it becomes a force of discipline, courage, and service. As your spiritual path deepens, these karmic themes may begin to surface, not as fantasies or past life stories to obsess over, but as patterns that can be worked with and healed. Buddhist teachers remind us, you don't need to remember every detail of your past incarnations. What truly matters is recognizing the recurring energies and applying right understanding to evolve them. A man constantly locked in power struggles might be working through karma from lifetimes of dominance or manipulation. A woman who habitually loses herself in caregiving may have been a healer who once gave everything without ever learning boundaries. Now, this life offers them something new, a chance to do it differently, a chance to awaken. Why does this matter? Because when we understand the deeper roots of our suffering, we reclaim our power. We stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and instead begin to ask, "What is this here to teach me?" In Buddhism, the focus isn't on the past for its own sake. It's on liberation, on seeing the impermanence of our pain and the possibility of transformation. It's not about holding on to stories, but about seeing which karmic seeds we're still watering and which we can choose to stop feeding. Let me share something personal. In my own journey, I discovered patterns that didn't make sense in the context of my childhood. An overwhelming fear of abandonment, a compulsion to teach before I felt ready, and a longing for a monastic life no one around me could understand. Through meditation, silence, and self-inquiry, those patterns began to make sense, not through vivid memories, but through recurring themes. I saw myself as a seeker across lifetimes, a teacher, a hermit. I also saw my failures, times I misused power, closed my heart, let fear guide me. But instead of shame, what emerged was compassion. Compassion for myself, compassion for others, because we're all on a long journey. Some souls are just beginning, others are remembering. And you, if you're here, listening or reading this, you're likely one of the ones beginning to awaken. As we continue exploring the mystery of past lives through the lens of Buddhism, one truth becomes clear. We are not just products of this lifetime. We are living expressions of many lives, threads of choice, intention, trauma, and wisdom woven into the fabric of who we are. Phobias, passions, emotional patterns, they may not begin here, but understanding them now is how we begin to heal, to choose, to awaken. Now let's take a closer look at how these karmic influences show up, not just in our memories or meditations, but in our personalities, our relationships, our spiritual leanings, and even the roles we're naturally drawn to play in the world. This is where the Buddhist teaching of pratyasamutpada, dependent origination, becomes more than just a philosophical concept. It becomes a lens through which we can understand what you might call our spiritual DNA, the subtle threads that connect our experiences across lifetimes. The role of vasanas, tendencies that cross lifetimes. In Yogacara Buddhism, also known as the mind-only school, there is a deep emphasis on vasanas, karmic tendencies impressed upon the subtle consciousness. These are not memories in the conventional sense. They are grooves, patterns, and tendencies that shape the way we think, feel, and act. Imagine painting the same pattern over and over across lifetimes. Even if you begin a new life, like starting with a blank canvas, your hand instinctively follows the same strokes. That's how vasanas work. They create a kind of inner gravity, a pull towards certain behaviors, reactions, and even destinies. Someone who instinctively steps into leadership roles may have spent lifetimes in positions of responsibility, chieftains, warriors, spiritual guides. Their energy carries the echo of command. Another person may experience recurring dreams of temples, rituals, or sacred symbols they've never encountered in this life. These could be soul memories, spiritual leanings shaped by vows or practices from other incarnations. These aren't fantasies. They arise from the alaya vijnana, the storehouse consciousness that holds the karmic seeds of all our past experiences. Born to lead, born to serve. In Buddhism, leadership and service are not opposites. They are simply different expressions of karmic development. Some individuals, through many lifetimes of ethical leadership and compassionate guidance, accumulate the karmic merit and intuitive wisdom to lead. These are the so-called born leaders. But Buddhism reminds us, it's not about that you lead, but how you lead. Leadership without wisdom easily becomes domination. Service without boundaries can turn into martyrdom. Many people today struggle with karmic imprints that are powerful but unbalanced. Take the example of someone who is always placed, either by choice or circumstance, into the role of emotional caretaker. Even when it drains them, they cannot seem to step away. This may be the karmic echo of a bodhisattva vow taken in a past life, to ease the suffering of others. But without the companion lesson of self-compassion, that vow becomes a burden rather than a blessing. Karma, in this sense, is not just about action, it's about insight. It's about learning the right lessons from what we do. Warrior karma. The energy of action and conflict. Now let's explore the energy of the warrior. You may recognize it in yourself or in someone close to you. A sharp, alert mind. A readiness to confront challenges head-on. A fascination with strategy, justice, protection, or even conflict. These qualities often point to past lives spent in roles of defenders, soldiers, revolutionaries, or protectors. The warrior archetype isn't just about physical combat. It's about action, courage, and the will to stand up for what is right. But warrior energy, if left unconscious, can become aggression or control. It must be tempered by mindfulness, ethics, and compassion. When transformed, this karmic pattern becomes a force for great good, discipline, clarity, and unwavering strength in the service of truth. This powerful energy, the energy of the warrior, has expressed itself through many lives. As soldiers, protectors, samurai, and even revolutionaries, Souls carrying this imprint have been shaped by lifetimes of action, defense, and intensity. But when this warrior karma remains unintegrated, it can lead to inner conflict, restlessness, anger, or an unconscious urge to fight even when peace is possible. Yet, when transmuted through mindfulness and compassion, this very energy becomes sacred fuel for spiritual discipline. The inner warrior evolves, not into a destroyer, but into a protector of the Dharma, a guardian of wisdom, a bodhisattva in armor, not to conquer, but to liberate. This is the essence of Vajrapani, the wrathful bodhisattva who channels fierce compassion rather than violence. His power does not wound, it awakens. He reminds us that true strength does not dominate, and true peace is not passive. The Seeker's Path, mysticism, monastic memories, and inner longing. You may feel a mysterious pull toward meditation, temples, sacred texts, or the stillness of monastic life. From a young age, certain spiritual truths might feel less like lessons and more like memories, something already known, just waiting to be remembered. This longing can signal past lives immersed in spiritual practice, perhaps as a monk, nun, hermit, or yogi. It may also point to vows your soul once took, echoes of sacred commitments reverberating through time. But this path is rarely smooth. Many spiritual seekers today feel like outsiders, unable to connect with the material world or find joy in society's pursuits. They may feel overwhelmed by noise, disconnected from modern life, or disinterested in conventional success. This too is karma, not punishment, but the result of an inner evolution, a soul ripening. Yet with this depth comes a danger: escapism. Some seekers hide behind their spiritual identity, avoiding the discomfort of real growth. The lesson here is integration, bringing the wisdom of previous lifetimes into this one, not by retreating from life, but by living fully with presence, courage, and compassion. The curse of the gifted. Persecution and karmic trauma. Some individuals feel chronically misunderstood. Their insights are dismissed, their intuition questioned, and their gifts unacknowledged. They may fear being fully seen or hide their uniqueness out of shame or caution. In Buddhist thought, we view this not only psychologically, but karmically. Such fear may be the residue of lifetimes where spiritual truth came at a cost. Persecution as a healer, oracle, or monk. Exile as a mystic or dissenter. Punishment for speaking truths that others weren't ready to hear. These karmic echoes can cause the soul to hesitate now, holding back, doubting its own light. But here is the essential truth: you were born again for a reason. This life is not a punishment or a repetition, it's a redemption, a chance to reclaim what was silenced. The very wounds you carry may be the gateways to your awakening. They are not shameful, they are sacred. Don't bury them, heal them, but share them with wisdom. The stagnant soul, karma of repetition and monotony. Then there are those who feel uninspired, directionless, or quietly stuck. Life seems flat, repetitive. They may feel like they're waiting for what they don't know. Often, this is the residue of lifetimes spent in roles defined by limitation: peasants, servants, slaves, lives where survival was the only goal. When a soul remains in survival mode for lifetimes, it carries forward a karmic pattern of passivity. Even when freedom is now possible, they may not know how to claim it. They may feel life is something that happens to them, not something they can shape. This is karmic inertia, and the antidote is intention. With awareness, even the smallest act of change, a choice, a conversation, a new habit, a spiritual practice, can begin to break the cycle of lifetimes. recognizing the patterns, sacred clues from the soul. So, how do we begin to identify these karmic patterns? The Buddha taught that mindfulness is the doorway to insight. Begin by observing what repeats, not just in your outer life, but in your inner world. What emotions surface again and again? What fears or desires never seem to fully dissolve? What kinds of relationships echo through the years? These are not accidents. They are sacred clues, threads of karma inviting you to weave a new story. The key is to observe without judgment, with compassion, with curiosity, because in those patterns lie the invitations not just to heal, but to awaken. The power of clarity. With clarity comes liberation, and from liberation, transformation. You don't have to be a mystic to access your karmic patterns. The Buddhist path offers practical, grounded tools to glimpse the soul's journey through time. Spiritual practices for accessing past life. Insight meditation. In deep stillness, the mind quiets and the subtle body speaks. Images, emotions, or scenes may rise, not as fantasies, but as fragments from lives once lived. Witness them, let them pass like clouds. The truth is in the pattern, not the story. Dream work. Your subconscious speaks in symbols. Keep a dream journal. Over time, themes may emerge: temples, deserts, floods, battles, faces you've never met but somehow remember. These are karmic breadcrumbs. Mantra and chanting, sacred syllables hold vibrational memory. When chanted with presence, they soften the ego's grip and awaken the soul's deeper voice. Sometimes, what you remember is not a name, but a knowing. Mindful living. Karma is always speaking. In your reactions, your cravings, your repeated emotional patterns. When you live mindfully, you begin to see where the transformation is asking to happen. Other tools: regression therapy, lucid dreaming, breathwork. These can open windows. But the foundation is always the same: groundedness, humility, compassion. The goal is not entertainment, it's awakening. You are more than this life. You are not just this body, not this name, not this brief flicker in time. You are a soul, older than memory, carrying wisdom, wounds, and gifts shaped across lifetimes. The Buddhist path does not ask us to escape the world, but to understand it, heal it, and eventually transcend it. Through compassion, through insight. Karmic relationships, love, pain, and soul contracts. Have you ever met someone and felt like you've known them forever? Or experienced heartbreak so deep it felt ancient? Have you crossed paths with a stranger who seemed instantly familiar, or fallen into a connection that felt fated, even if it ended in ashes? These aren't just poetic sentiments. According to Buddhist teachings on karma and rebirth, they are real. They are echoes, vibrations of past life bonds, karmic debts, spiritual contracts that echo through the soul's fabric. The law of karmic resonance. In Buddhism, karma is not just what goes around comes around. It's the law of cause and effect, shaped by intention, emotion, and action. Every encounter leaves an imprint, some light, some heavy, some unresolved. When the time is right, that karma ripens. You may find yourself face to face again with the same soul, wearing a new face, speaking a new name, drawn together by threads that need healing, repeating, or releasing. Karmic soulmates. Love beyond time. A karmic soulmate is not always a forever partner, but they are always a teacher. They ignite something deep: recognition, intensity, longing. You finish each other's sentences. You've danced this dance before. Because you have. Perhaps in another life you were lovers, spouses, even enemies. And in this life, the thread pulls you back, not always for comfort, but for completion. Some bonds are born from vows, promises to return, to protect, to never let go. These vows can linger in the subtle consciousness and appear now as fierce loyalty or inexplicable attachment. But be mindful, not all past life romances are healthy. Some are rooted in pain, betrayal, or clinging. They feel magnetic but chaotic. The soul may not be trying to rekindle, it may be trying to release. Patterns of repetition, lessons left unlearned. Do your relationships seem to repeat themselves? The same type of partner, the same conflict, the same painful ending. This isn't bad luck, it's karmic inertia. It means the soul is trying to learn something it hasn't yet mastered. Someone who constantly attracts unavailable partners may be carrying abandonment wounds from lifetimes past. A person who always plays the fixer may have taken vows of service or sacrifice and never learned self-worth. These patterns are not punishments. They are invitations to see clearly, to choose differently, to break the cycle. Karmic mirrors. The roles we play, one who fears betrayal may have once been the betrayer. Now they face the karmic mirror, not as punishment, but as a lesson in empathy. Two souls locked in cycles of push and pull may be reliving an ancient story of attachment and loss, a dance they've known for centuries. The key is not to escape, but to become aware. Awareness breaks the cycle. Spiritual contracts and divine companions. Not all karmic ties are painful. Some are profoundly healing. In Buddhist thought, we never walk alone. We are accompanied by Kalyanamita, spiritual friends who walk beside us across lifetimes. Their mission not to test us, but to awaken us. They come as parents, friends, teachers, or strangers at just the right time. You'll know them by the peace they bring, the stillness, the quiet knowing. Some souls make pre-birth agreements to meditate together, to raise children, to shield one another in the storm of samsara. They are not here to challenge your ego, but to remind you of your soul. Not all karma is conflict. Some karma is grace. Family karma, the sacred and the difficult. Why were you born into your particular family? Buddhism teaches that birth is not random. Your family of origin reflects the collective karma of a soul group. You are not just born to people. You are born with them, again and again. Sometimes these bonds are rooted in unconditional love. Other times they are tangled in pain, dysfunction, or silence. The overbearing parent may have once been your child, seeking your care. A sibling rivalry may echo ancient power struggles between past life allies or foes. The coldness of a mother may reflect karmic detachment from a life where you failed to nurture. Understanding this doesn't excuse harm, but it frees you. It dissolves the illusion of victimhood. It gives you the power to respond consciously, to end a cycle rather than reenact it. Karma and children. Souls that return. Many parents speak of their children as old souls. Children who remember rituals they've never been taught, languages they've never studied, stories from centuries past. Buddhism affirms, children are not blank slates. They are returning beings, each on their own karmic journey. Sometimes they come back to us. In cultures of ancestor veneration, this is well understood. Your child may once have been your grandparent, your student, even your spiritual teacher. Karmic roles reverse. The soul remains. Honor the being behind the identity, not just the label of son, daughter, parent. This is how you see clearly. The danger of karmic obsession, recognizing past life ties, can be enlightening, but it can also become seductive. Some become obsessed with knowing who they were or who someone else really is. But karma is not a story to chase. It's a current to understand and transcend. The question is not, what were we? The question is, What will we become now? Whether someone was your lover, your killer, your child, or your teacher, what matters is the present. Only the present holds the power of liberation, transforming karmic relationships. When a karmic bond causes pain, healing begins not by changing the other, but by transforming your own response. Mindful awareness, notice the pattern without judgment. Name what repeats. See what draws you back. Loving kindness meditation, metta. Send compassion to the other, even from afar. Heal the thread, whether or not they ever change. Letting go of old vows. Sometimes we carry soul vows long past their purpose. I will never leave you. I will protect you forever. These can become chains. In meditation, visualize the vow. Thank it. Release it. Say aloud, I release all vows that no longer serve the highest good. In the end, karma is not destiny. Karma is not a cage. It is not fixed. It is fluid, alive, transformable, and every act of awareness, compassion, and courage becomes a new seed. A seed that ends cycles, that rewrites stories, that births freedom. Your soul came here not to suffer endlessly, but to awaken, to recognize the divine in pain, the teacher in the trial, and the light within the shadow. Letting go as liberation. In meditation, you can consciously release past life vows that no longer serve your evolution. You can name them, bless them, and let them dissolve like incense in the wind. Service and merit. Offer kindness in the name of those you feel karmically tied to. Dedicate your good deeds to their healing. It lightens the karmic load for both of you. Forgiveness rituals. Not just outwardly, but inwardly, even to souls long gone. These practices don't erase the past, but they rewrite your future. Every relationship in your life is a spiritual classroom. Some teach you patience, some teach you truth, some teach you how to walk away with love, and some teach you how to return, wiser, kinder, freer. You don't need to remember your past lives in vivid detail to benefit from their wisdom. You only need to listen to your soul's responses, the attractions, the triggers, the longings. What if every heartbreak was not a punishment, but a portal? What if the ones who hurt you most were the very ones who ultimately set you free? Beyond karma, the heart of Buddhist wisdom. We arrive now at the heart of Buddhist teaching, freedom. Not freedom from life, but freedom within it. We've explored how karma shapes relationships, how echoes of past lives ripple through the present, how love can transcend time, and how pain carries hidden wisdom. But none of these stories are meant to trap us. The Buddha didn't teach us to chase karma or decode past lives like a cosmic puzzle. He taught us how to transcend the cycle entirely. This is liberation, beyond karma, beyond story, beyond self, samsara, and the path to freedom. In Buddhist cosmology, all beings are caught in samsara, the endless wheel of birth, death, and rebirth. It spins on the axis of ignorance, craving, and aversion. Every attachment, every grudge, every unresolved desire becomes another spoke in that wheel. Karma is the fuel that keeps it turning. The more we cling to identities, to memories, to love rooted in ego, the more bound we become. Even love, when tainted with grasping, becomes a golden chain. So how do we stop spinning? By seeing clearly, by loving without clinging, by remembering who we truly are, beyond roles, beyond names, beyond lifetimes, the illusion of self. One of the Buddha's most radical teachings is anatta, no self. There is no permanent you moving through time, collecting karma like trophies. What continues is not a being, but a stream of consciousness, shaped by causes and conditions, ever changing. Even your past lives weren't you. They were forms the karmic stream once wore. waves arising from the same ocean. The person who hurt you in a past life, they are not the same now. You are not the same now. Holding on to karmic pain becomes meaningless in the light of this truth. True love. Unbinding from the Buddhist perspective, the highest form of love is not attachment. It is compassionate wisdom, a love that liberates, not possesses. When you truly love someone, you don't say, "You're mine." You say, "May you be free." This is the love of the bodhisattvas, awakened beings who choose to return, not out of desire, but out of compassion. They walk with others not because they must, but because they care. You can do the same. You can love deeply, fiercely, freely, without needing someone to stay, or change, or fill your emptiness. That is karmic transcendence, the karma of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering, without suffering. It means honoring what was, learning what you must, and stepping into the now, unburdened. Letting go might look like saying thank you to a relationship that broke you because it woke you. Releasing a parent from the image you held of who they should have been. Blessing someone who walked away and not wishing them back. Setting down an old vow with gentleness and breath. Because when you let go with love, you don't lose the connection, you purify it. The power of compassionate karma, you needed them to be who they were, so that you could see them as a soul on their own path. Forgiving someone who will never apologize, because your peace matters more than their regret. Choosing not to seek revenge or validation, but instead choosing silence, stillness, and the present moment. These are not weaknesses. These are the acts of an awakened being. Liberation in the now. Freedom is not a destination. You don't have to wait for the next life to be free. Liberation begins now. Every time you pause instead of react, love without agenda, forgive without needing closure, choose peace over pride, see your pain as a doorway, not a wall. But to awaken, to recognize the divine in pain, the teacher in the trial, and the light within the shadow, letting go as liberation. In meditation, you can consciously release past life vows that no longer serve your evolution. You can name them, bless them, and let them dissolve like incense in the wind. Service and merit offer kindness in the name of those you feel karmically tied to. Dedicate your good deeds to their healing. It lightens the karmic load for both of you. Forgiveness rituals. Not just outwardly, but inwardly, even to souls long gone. These practices don't erase the past, but they rewrite your future. Every relationship in your life is a spiritual classroom. Some teach you patience, some teach you truth, some teach you how to walk away with love, and some teach you how to return, wiser, kinder, freer. You don't need to remember your past lives in vivid detail to benefit from their wisdom. You only need to listen to your soul's responses, the attractions, the triggers, the longings. What if every heartbreak was not a punishment, but a portal? What if the ones who hurt you most were the very ones who ultimately set you free? Beyond karma, the heart of Buddhist wisdom. We arrive now at the heart of Buddhist teaching, freedom. Not freedom from life, but freedom within it. We've explored how karma shapes relationships, how echoes of past lives ripple through the present, how love can transcend time, and how pain carries hidden wisdom. But none of these stories are meant to trap us. The Buddha didn't teach us to chase karma or decode past lives like a cosmic puzzle. He taught us how to transcend the cycle entirely. This is liberation, beyond karma, beyond story, beyond self, samsara, and the path to freedom. In Buddhist cosmology, all beings are caught in samsara, the endless wheel of birth, death, and rebirth. It spins on the axis of ignorance, craving, and aversion. Every attachment, every grudge, every unresolved desire becomes another spoke in that wheel. Karma is the fuel that keeps it turning. The more we cling to identities, to memories, to love rooted in ego, the more bound we become. Even love, when tainted with grasping, becomes a golden chain. So how do we stop spinning? By seeing clearly, by loving without clinging, by remembering who we truly are, beyond roles, beyond names, beyond lifetimes, the illusion of self. One of the Buddha's most radical teachings is anatta, no self. There is no permanent you moving through time, collecting karma like trophies. What continues is not a being, but a stream of consciousness, shaped by causes and conditions, ever changing. Even your past lives weren't you. They were forms the karmic stream once wore, waves arising from the same ocean. The person who hurt you in a past life, they are not the same now. You are not the same now. Holding on to karmic pain becomes meaningless in the light of this truth. True love. Unbinding, from the Buddhist perspective, the highest form of love is not attachment. It is compassionate wisdom, a love that liberates, not possesses. When you truly love someone, you don't say, "You're mine." You say, "May you be free." This is the love of the bodhisattvas, awakened beings who choose to return, not out of desire, but out of compassion. They walk with others not because they must, but because they care. You can do the same. You can love deeply, fiercely, freely, without needing someone to stay, or change, or fill your emptiness. That is karmic transcendence, the karma of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering, without suffering. It means honoring what was, learning what you must, and stepping into the now, unburdened. Letting go might look like saying thank you to a relationship that broke you because it woke you. Releasing a parent from the image you held of who they should have been. Blessing someone who walked away and not wishing them back. Setting down an old vow with gentleness and breath. Because when you let go with love, you don't lose the connection, you purify it. The power of compassionate karma, you needed them to be who they were, so that you could see them as a soul on their own path. Forgiving someone who will never apologize, because your peace matters more than their regret. Choosing not to seek revenge or validation, but instead choosing silence, stillness, and the present moment. These are not weaknesses. These are the acts of an awakened being. Liberation in the now. Freedom is not a destination. You don't have to wait for the next life to be free. Liberation begins now. Every time you pause instead of react, love without agenda, forgive without needing closure, choose peace over pride. See your pain as a doorway, not a wall. You are breaking the karmic chain. You are stepping off the wheel. You are remembering who you truly are. Boundless, silent, awake, becoming the author of your karma. What if, instead of seeing yourself as a victim of fate, you became the author of your karma? What if you stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and began asking, "What is this teaching me?" Every act of compassion, every moment of mindfulness, every kind word you speak plants new seeds. Seeds that will blossom not only in your life, but in the lives of people you haven't even met yet. You can become the cause of joy in someone's next lifetime. You can be the stranger who smiles at a child, a smile that the child will remember forever. You can be the silent prayer that lifts a soul you've never seen. That is the power of conscious karma. That is the path of awakening, the freedom to choose peace. Your past doesn't define you. Your karmic debts don't doom you. And your relationships, no matter how painful, can all become portals to liberation, if you let them. You are not here to repeat the same stories. You are here to awaken through them. So love deeply, let go freely, and walk your path with eyes wide open. Because in the end, the only relationship that truly matters is the one you have with your own awakening. The awareness behind all things. What if this entire journey, across lifetimes, karma, and heartbreak, was never about becoming something more, but about remembering what you've always been? In this final part, we turn inward, not to chase another theory, not to solve another karmic riddle, but to return to what is always here, always now, awareness itself. From the Buddhist lens, no matter how many lifetimes you've lived, no matter how much karma you've carried, there's one thing that has never changed: the knowing, the silent observer behind every thought, every feeling, dream, or fear. The one who watched your birth, your heartbreak, your death, and still remained. This is not the you shaped by memories or pain, not the you defined by names, roles, or spiritual identities. This is pure awareness, timeless, boundless, unborn. In every lifetime, you've played different characters. In one, a healer. In another, a soldier. In this life, a seeker. But the screen behind all those stories has always been the same. And that screen is who you truly are. The return of the Bodhisattvas. The boat is set on a path returning after liberation. Some beings awaken from the dream. They step off the wheel of samsara. They see through the illusion of self and other. They taste nirvana, not as a distant heaven, but as this very moment, free of craving. And yet they come back, not because they must, but because they care. These are the bodhisattvas, awakened ones who vow to walk with others until all beings are free. Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe your longing, your sensitivity, your pain isn't a weakness, but the very reason you are here. You, too, are walking this path of awakening, not just for yourself, but for all beings. If you found wisdom in this journey, consider sharing this with someone who might need it. Leave a comment with your thoughts or experiences with karmic connections. Subscribe for more teachings on consciousness, liberation, and love across lifetimes. May all beings be free. May all beings find peace. May all beings awaken. The memory of awakening. Perhaps you've walked this path before, and now you've come back, not as punishment, but as a promise kept. The karma of kindness, changing the world one breath at a time. Not everyone needs to know their past lives. Not everyone will experience lucid dreams, regressions, or visions. But everyone can awaken, and the most powerful karma you can create. It's not dramatic. It's not mystical. It's in the smallest acts of awareness. One mindful breath, one compassionate word, one moment of choosing love instead of fear. Each choice plants a seed, not just for your next life, but for this one, right now. The present moment, the secret to transformation. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, the present moment contains the past and the future. The secret of transformation lies in how we handle this very moment. If you want to change your karma, you don't have to go backward. You have to go deeper, deeper into presence, deeper into silence, deeper into the still truth of this breath. Beyond karma, the truth that cannot be burned. All karma is impermanent. It rises, it ripens, it fades. But you are not karma. You are the one who observes it, learns from it, forgives it, and lets it go. The freedom of letting go. And when you truly realize this, there's a moment where everything drops: the blame, the shame, the storyline. What remains? Freedom. The freedom of no longer needing to be anyone, to prove anything, or to cling to any life. Just this. Just now. Just awareness. Awake, open, and free. The Great Return. So maybe the point of past lives isn't to find out who you were, but to discover who you are beneath it all. Maybe the most sacred vow isn't, I will never leave you, but I will wake up with you. And maybe, just maybe, this message found you now, because a deeper part of you already remembers. The part that has wandered through lifetimes, the part that has loved deeply and lost greatly, the part that longs not for escape, but for awakening. You are not broken. You are becoming whole, one breath at a time. The collective journey. If this journey stirred something inside you, if you felt seen, remembered, or awakened, even for a moment, then share this message. Someone else might be searching for exactly this. A lost soul, a seeker, a bodhisattva in hiding. Leave a comment. Tell us what resonated with you, or share a story from your own journey. Every word you write becomes part of the collective healing. Subscribe to this channel. We are building a space for ancient wisdom to meet modern souls. If you seek depth, stillness, and spiritual truth, we walk together. The Ripple of Awareness. Like this video if it helped you see your life differently, because even one moment of awareness can change everything. Share it with your friends, your partner, your spiritual community. Let this message ripple outward, like karmic echoes of compassion. Together, we're not just remembering the past, we're co-creating a future, awake, loving, and free. May your path be lit by presence. May your heart be soft and strong. And may you remember, across all lifetimes, that you are already home.